All right, good evening, everyone. And how was our day? So tonight we'll be looking at how we can analyze a postgraduate research. All right, we have undergraduate work. All right, we have postgraduate work. We have masters. We have PhD. Okay. The fact is that data analysis is data analysis. There's really no much difference between an undergraduate project and postgraduate projects. It depends on supervisors. Okay, it depends on supervisors. I've done some postgraduate projects, some undergraduate projects that the analysis is so tense because of the supervisor. You see, when you have a supervisor that knows research and knows state analysis, you should know that you are in for a serious work. Are you following? In relative, if it's postgraduate or undergraduate. So don't let anybody deceive you and tell you that, okay, please, my work is undergraduate. That's why you should charge less. No. That is undergraduate does not mean that the data analysis will still not stress you out. Okay, let me tell you something. The difference between an undergraduate work, all right, the difference between an undergraduate work and a postgraduate work majorly comes into place when you are dealing with a questionnaires. Most undergraduate work usually have maybe 100, less than 100, maximum maybe 120 questionnaires. And most postgraduates start from 200 to 250, 300, 400. Are you following? So that's one of the differences we have between an undergraduate analysis and postgraduate analysis. Okay. Now, another difference between both is when you have increase in number of objectives. An undergraduate can have like 3 objectives and maybe 1 hypothesis, and some might not even have hypothesis. Now, a postgraduate we have around 5, 6 objectives and maybe around 4 hypotheses. You understand? So which means that the postgraduate analysis, how will I say it now? We have more to do than undergraduates, but that is not stopping the stress. Are you following? It's not stopping the stress. Okay. Now, another difference we have between an undergraduate work and a postgraduate data analysis, apart from the questionnaires and then the data analysis, is that undergraduate work majorly might be just descriptive, right? Might be just descriptive analysis we are going to use. Okay, frequency percentage, draw table, charts. That's all. A postgraduate work, you might be required to use some technical data analysis. Okay, like correlation regression. Okay, ANOVA. That is not saying that undergraduate work too are not using them, because I've dealt with some undergraduate work that use some technical data analysis like TOPIT and PROPIT. Those are high-level data analysis. All right. In undergraduate work. Okay. So the major thing that you need to understand is that know what you are doing. That someone tells you that is an undergraduate work, the next thing you need to ask the person is that, let me see your chapter 1. I know it's undergraduate work. You want to analyze, but let me see the chapter 1. And then you open the chapter 1, you are seeing 5 objectives. So this is not just undergraduate again now. You have 5 objectives, which means I will have to analyze 5 objectives. Your price cannot be the same with another undergraduate that has 3 objectives. Are you following? They have 3 objectives. Okay, and then you are seeing an hypothesis in the work, and then you go to the chapter 3 under the data analysis techniques, but that's the major aspect that you need to have. Okay, and then you are looking at some technical data analysis. Despite it's an undergraduate work, you should build the person as if you are doing a postgraduate work. Are you following? You should build the person as if you are doing a postgraduate work. Okay, the major thing that you need to know is just you know how to analyze. Once you know how to analyze, and you know the technical aspect in writing the chapter 4, which I want to take us now. The technical aspect in writing the chapter 4. You must not just know how to analyze a project or how to analyze a data set given to you by an organization or a master's, PhD, undergraduate student. You also must know how you should present the results. That's chapter 4. And in some other research projects, they call it chapter 5. Know how to present it. It's part of your job as a data analyst. All right, it's part of your job as what? As a data analyst. So don't just know how to analyze the project, how to analyze data sets. You must know how to present it, how to structure a chapter 4. How do a chapter 4 looks like? You understand? If you go through this training, you've learned ANOVA, you've learned chi-square. You know, all those things are very easy. Just for you to click on your SPSS software to give you the results in the output. Once you know what you are clicking, you have your result in the output. That's all. You understand? That's all. But the major aspect comes in place in the chapter 4. That is where the bulk of the work is. The chapter 4, that's where it takes more time. If I say that I want to analyze a project for people and I say I give the person 2 weeks, what I'm saying is that I can finish the analysis in 1 day. But the chapter 4, writing of chapter 4 can take a whole 2 weeks. You understand? And that's what you must master as a data analyst. You must learn that as a data analyst. In fact, that's what separates undergraduate from postgraduate. Once you tell me your work is postgraduate, I know that I'm in for a serious work. There is a level I must develop your work into for it to be accepted as a postgraduate work. You understand? All right. So I'll just show us one example tonight. And then we are going to have another Zoom class tomorrow. Okay. And after that, we'll round up the training. I still want to give us like 2 or 3 videos, which I'm trying to develop. Sorry, I've not really have enough time to do some intensive Zoom session with us. And I noticed that some people are not even online. So they still preferred the recorded videos. So I want to do a video for us on how to use t-tests. Okay. And then how to use 2 other data analysis techniques. And then we'll round up. So that will come up this week. I'll give us assignments that will be submitted within 2 weeks. Then I will issue out our certificate. All right. So, but tonight, let's look at. I said 1, but I feel like I should give out 2 different practical work for us to practice with in this practical session. All right. So let's go. Okay. So let's look at this work. We've actually used this work in the past, okay? We've demonstrated this work in the past several times, all right? But now, you are a data analyst, you want to analyze a data set, okay? Before you go ahead, I've told us what are the things you need to look at. You need to look at the objectives. So what's the objectives of this work? Yeah, we have 4 objectives of the work, okay? And we have what? We have 3 hypotheses. Okay, now the next thing you need to go and look at is the methodology. I'm sorry, I want to copy that. I want to copy this. Is the methodology. Okay. Now look at this. Okay, this data. Okay, now this work they didn't tell us the data analysis techniques they want to use. They only said descriptive statistics and what. They said regression will be employed. So in a way, they are saying that regression will be used for the hypothesis and descriptive will be used for the what? For the objectives. So now, once you know that, you go to your what? You go to your questionnaire. Now, this is a questionnaire. It's likely just one video I will do with us today. It's looking like that already. Okay. There's some things I want us to understand. There's some things I want us to understand. Okay. Now, let me just tell you, you can't know everything as a data analyst. Or I encountered a problem recently, like 3 weeks ago. The supervisor of the client told the person to go and do one data analysis. And then that's the first time I'm hearing that analysis technique. So I went to YouTube to go and search. I was able to get it done because I'm a good data analyst myself. So by the time I went to YouTube and I saw it, it's easy for me to do. You understand? It was very easy. But there was one correction that I was confused about. In my own opinion, that analysis technique should not have worked. So I contacted one of my boss. I said, sir, can this work? You know what he told me? He said, follow the supervisor. You understand? He said, follow the supervisor. In his own opinion too, he said it shouldn't have worked. That shouldn't be the data analysis technique that ought to be used for that particular objective. But the fact is that that's what the supervisor is asking for. So we need to align to the supervisor's opinion. You understand? But you can't know everything. You sometimes you learn on the job. All right. There are some techniques that personally my boss did not teach me. It was when I encountered in some jobs I was doing that I went on YouTube to go and check on them. I was not able to use them in the work. And the same thing happens to my boss himself. He was telling me it's his own experience too. You understand? So there is no training, or let me say, there's nobody that can sit you down and take you all the techniques. No. All right. It's not possible unless if you're not trying to do it as a business, maybe just for your own PhD work or your own master's work. Aha, that's just possible. So you only learn something that you can use for your own particular work. But if you are trying to earn from this kind of skill, you can't know everything. You can only master a major aspect of it. You understand? Some other thing that might show itself on the way, you'll be learning on the job. Okay, you'll be learning on the job. Almost every year, I learn new data analysis techniques that I've not heard before. I've learned 2 already this year. That all my years, I've not used that technique before. But this was I asked for it, and I needed to go and I needed to do it. You understand? All right, so now the next thing you look at, once you see your objective, you go to the questionnaire. Okay, you make sure that the variables in these objectives are in the questionnaire. I don't want to dive much into that because I've explained that to us. Okay, I've explained that to us. I don't want to finish analysis and then you now enter barbed wire. Barbed wire, it says that your analysis was rejected. I want you to follow the procedure, the protocol. As a data analyst, you verify some things before you jump into the analysis. Go check the objectives, check the hypothesis. All right. Make sure that the objective and the hypothesis, they are aligned. If they are not aligned, make sure the variables of the objectives and the variables in the hypothesis are in the questionnaire. I've explained that to us in the previous videos and previous classes we've held. So forces, make sure the forces are in the questionnaire. Okay. Forces. Critically, evaluate critically the model and framework relevant. This one, I don't think this was analyzed. I don't think this was analyzed. The stakeholder practice. Okay, I think this was done in chapter 2. You can see models and framework. You can use analysis to do model and framework. This was done in chapter 2. Stakeholder practice related to digital marketing. Yeah, you have to look for it here. These barriers to digital marketing. Yeah, stakeholders is there. And then recommendations. So, and then you now go to go to your hypothesis. Digital marketing driving force, business environment factor. Organizational factor, technology factor. You look for it here. Are they here? Organization, technology, business. Okay, they are there. What's the last one? SME marketing sources. So we have this variable, we have these variables, and we have the objectives. SME marketing sources. Do you have the variable here? SME marketing sources. We have the variable. The variable is not here. Maybe the question I copied is not complete. Okay. So you can see that the variable to measure SME marketing success is not here. So if you are the one that is doing this analysis, you are going to enter a problem. You'll not be able to analyze this hypothesis. Because you have data for this business environment factor because it's already in the questionnaire. But you not have data to analyze the SME marketing success. So you're not be able to analyze any of these hypotheses because marketing success is here. You understand me? So which means that you need to tell the client that this questionnaire is not correct. Though. Please go and add a table or a question or something that we can use as SME marketing success into the questionnaire and then collect the data set. Now, it will be a problem if data has already been collected. So which means that you have to formulate data out yourself. Once this variable is added to the questionnaire, you formulate the data out for yourself so that you don't, of course, you collect your money. It's part of your experience. You collect your money. Yeah, and it's part of stress you are going through. But you should make the client to understand the reason why you are doing that. All right. You cannot put a variable in your objective or your hypothesis and it is not measured in the questionnaire. It means that there's no data for it, which means that it cannot be analyzed. So you have to make sure that all the variables in the objective and in the hypothesis are in the questionnaire. That's your first assignment. And then after that, you can now start your analysis. You cannot do what? You cannot start your analysis. This protocol is for both undergraduate and postgraduates. I don't care, even if it's a PhD work, it's the same procedure. Make sure the variables are measured in the data sets, in the questionnaire. I follow me. If you are dealing with a secondary data analysis, make sure that all the variables in the objectives or in the research methodology, maybe ROA, profit or something, all the variables, you have data set for it. It's still the same thing. You understand? If it's not measured in the questionnaire, you will have data set for it. You understand? So now let's go to chapter 4 of this work and let's see how it was analyzed. So this is the best way I can actually. Now, the first thing you must know in writing the report of your analysis is not difficult. I've taught us analysis. You can analyze, the output will come out. The output will show at the other side. You can do your frequency and percentage. That shouldn't be an issue. All right, it's very easy. The major part is this chapter 4. Is the major part. Now look at it now. Chapter 4, data analysis, presentation, and interpretation. Some people just write chapter 4, data analysis and results. Can write result and data analysis. So who can write result and interpretation? You understand? This particular topic here, this particular topic here is subject to your department. You understand? You can write result and interpretation here. Okay, but I just like this. Now, the main objective of this research work is preparing SME. That should be an introduction to your chapter 4. So this is the introduction of my own work, the chapter 4. Now, I've told you, when you're analyzing a postgraduate work or any other work, postgraduate, undergraduate, the first thing you analyze is the section A of the questionnaire, social demographic statistics. Even if the question does not have it, tell the client he needs to have it. If you don't have section A of a questionnaire, there will be problem. In a sense that that work will not be bulky. So you must analyze the section A, and what you use is descriptive analysis. You use what? Descriptive analysis to analyze the section A. So look at this section A now. After we've done the analysis, all right, frequency percentage, you can see how it was done. So we just do the analysis somewhere and we started typing it here. Frequency percentage. So we did that. Categories, highest educational level, number of employees, number of years. You understand? Now, if you look at it, I taught us in class, this section A can be divided, the analysis can be divided into two. You can have all these ones separately, one table each separately, and then you interpret them separately. And then you have their graph separately. Or you can put everything in one table like this. If you put everything in one table like this, it's just one table. It's just one page. And then you do the interpretation one page. You understand? You should definitely know that your work will not be bulky. One of the ways that make a postgraduate work bulky is you separating the analysis of these social demographic statistics. Let me show us a work. Now look at this now. You can see that it was separated. This is not just one. We are still dealing with the social economic characteristics of the respondent, the same section here we are dealing with. But look at this section here, it was categorized everything in one table, frequency and percentage. Now look at how I did my table. Some people can draw that table in the, I don't know, any format, but make sure that you are showing the options, the real variable, the frequency, and the percentage, you are showing them. Now look at how this was done. This was done variable by variable. This one said everything was separate. They are standing on their own. And you can see that it has more pages. That's more pages. Okay, now this interpretation of that table, you can see another table, this interpretation, another table, that's interpretation. Now, you can see now. So if you want to have increase in number of pages, if they say that this your chapter 4 is too small, it means they're going to separate that social characteristics, go and separate the analysis, make it table by table, and do your interpretation separately. I've taught us interpretation, so I'm not going to that now. So after that, the next thing you should now do, immediately you finish your social characteristics, the next thing you should do is what? How do you analyze the objective? You see, when you are dealing with any data analysis, you must analyze the objective. So immediately you finish analyzing the social characteristics, the next thing is what you analyze the objective. All right, you analyze the objective. So now this is all these are the interpretation of this table. You can see above table presents this is all these are just interpretation of that table Okay, and you must know how to interpret very well, please. You must know how to interpret very well. I will send this work to us so that we can see. Majorly focus on the interpretation, how the interpretation was done. So look at the distribution of the respondent. This is the objective now, objective 1, table 2. You can see yes, no, maybe. So all this was done, was analyzed. This is the interpretation. You can see how bulky the interpretation is. Now, this table 3 is on the questionnaire, but it's not part of the objective. Hope we know that. You know, we saw the objective the other time. It's on the questionnaire, but it's not part of the objective. Now, I want to tell us something now. I said you should analyze the objective. Fine. But there are some times that there are some questions in the questionnaire, okay, they are not really related to the objective, but they will make your work bulky and they will add more meaning to your work or to the person's work. Okay. One thing that makes supervisors happy is when they have a bulky chapter 4. Okay. When they have a bulky chapter 4. I've seen some chapter 4 in the past that once I finish analysis, it's just maybe 4 pages. So I go back to the questionnaire. Which part of this questionnaire that I can analyze, though it's not in the objective, but I can analyze them to increase the number of pages. So that's what happened to this one like this. It's not part of the objective, but it's part of the questionnaire, which makes more sense. Okay, so we analyze it. And this interpretation can see how bulky it is. Now, the decision of respondent based on stakeholder, this part of the objective, we analyze it. You can see we use descriptive. Descriptive. And if you notice from the methodology, descriptive was said to be used for the objective. If you remember, aha. So stakeholder practice. Now, hypothesis testing. Okay. You cannot say you want to analyze objective and the work has hypothesis and you're not testing it. You need to test it. You need to test it. So you go and watch the video on the how to use correlation, and co. So you use that to analyze this, the variables of business environment against SME marketing success. Of course, the data for SME marketing was created. It's just not in the questionnaire. Okay, and it was analyzed and interpreted. It was interpreted. You can see the regression analysis, the variable, the coefficients, the significant value, the decision rule. You understand? You know, we said it that time. If it's lesser than 0.05, it's significant. It's 0.01. That means it's what? It's significant. All right, so hypothesis 2 was analyzed. You can see the structure. Nobody will look at the chapter 4 and not understand when the objective was analyzed. We did not understand when the hypothesis was analyzed. Everything was structured. The hypothesis section, you can see H1, H2. They are not jumbled together. You are seeing the analysis of each objective. The table was standing very good, very nice. All right, you must make your chapter 4 look beautiful. It's just that this chapter 4 does not have graph. We are asked to remove the graph. If you add graph to your work, you are going to love it. Okay, so it was analyzed. So after that, now discussion of findings must be done. Though it's not part of your work, but if you can do it, it will help you. It's just you linking up your findings to the literature review of the person's work. That person wants to do it. So if you want to do it, you have to go and read the literature review of the work, and then you can do it. But you should charge for it, but it's not part of your work. Okay. So I will send the work to us. Please, this work is confidential. Make sure that you keep it safe. I want to show us a chapter 4 of a work that is submitted today. Okay. Sorry, I cannot send this one to you. The one I'm sending to you, we've finished it since last year. So I believe that the person, well, please keep that work safe. Chapter 4, main objective. You can see analysis. You can see this is just one table also. Okay. But something happened. Is one table, but the interpretation was they were separate. Okay. They were what? They were separate. Okay. You can see that they were separate. The first two of the interpretation were together, or that first table, they were together. Now, the interpretation of this one, they were separate, so that you can have more tables. Sure, yes. So, sorry. We will soon round up in the next few minutes. All right, so you can see now H, that's the interpretation. You can see yes, that's the interpretation. You can see this is beautiful. It's fine. It makes sense. Not you just wrote all the interpretation together at once. Just because the supervisor asked us to remove the graph and everything, that's why you put them together. I like my interpretation to be separate, and then the graph follows interpretation. Despite the tables are together, it makes the work fine. All right. Then after that, we now start analyzing the objective and analysis of the respondent, the objectives. You understand? And after that, we analyze the hypothesis. See, the hypothesis was analyzed. Then after that, discussion of findings based on the objective. You can see how it was done. Now discussion of findings based on the hypothesis. Then chapter 5. Do we get it now? So please, to analyze a postgraduate and undergraduate is not difficult. Just follow the template. All right, follow the templates. Structure your chapter 4. Do a proper discussion of results. Interpretation. Don't do interpretation of two lines, 3 lines. The work I'll be saying to us, you can see how the interpretation was done. That's why we are using frequency and percentage to interpret. The words that we are using, we are making it, it's coherent, they are flowing into each other. You understand? They are flowing into each other. So, thank you, everyone. I hope we enjoyed the class. Please, I have another meeting now. That's why they're actually calling me. So, I will share this video to the page so that you can have it. So, if you have questions, chat me up. All right, if you have questions, chat me up. We'll have another Zoom class tomorrow. All right, by this time. So, chat me on. So, thank you, everyone. And then expect our assignments. I've said some things at the beginning of this class. So if you missed the beginning of this class, go and listen to it so that you understand what I've said. Thank you, everyone. See us tomorrow.